Alright, we are recording, so continuing in Just Cause 2. I don't need to say anything more than that. I bought this game some years ago. Sorry, just the whole, from working with Dying Light 2, I got kind of stuck in there that I have to say who it's from, who the key was provided by, but not in this case. So, speaking of Dying Light 2, though, I did finish the review. Finished the playthrough, finished writing the review, and submitted it this week. So yes, I know it's quite late after the release, but that day job, that's how that is. Yeah, we'll do that. Boy, is it okay. Trying to remember what the right control is. It's not that easy going between some games, and this one does have weird map control. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully that the Dying Light 2 review will be able to be out soon. We'll just have to see. I did really enjoy playing, though. That it was an easy game for me to recommend. It really was. Yeah, just don't want to say too much more, because it's, you need to have reason to look at the review. And the review playthrough is up. It's all basically set. Just needs to go through editing. And can I not do it yet? Maybe I can't do it. You eventually are able to draw a mustache and glasses on those. Alright, so yeah, what do I got? What have I got to talk about? Two of the things are Intel, and one is not. So the first thing I got here was, I think from the very beginning of the week, it was announced Intel wants to acquire Power Semiconductor. I think that's... Yeah, that's what I have written down, which I will admit I did that based on the memory of what I was saying. So what is Tower Semiconductor? It is an independent fab a la Global Foundries, not bleeding edge like TSMC, but that would be another example of an independent fab. And I hope I'm using the term in fab correctly. But the one of the companies that, hey, you need to make some kind of processor or other thing made that way, you can go to them. So why would... And by the way, Ian Cuttress on his Tech Deck Potato channel had a very nice very nice video going through why Intel's likely doing this. Because Intel is bleeding edge. Why would they want this? Because Intel wants to be able to, expand their foundry business. Be able to... And I think they already do some contract work where other companies can come to them to have stuff fabricated, but they do bleeding edge. They don't do things that aren't. And that also includes more energy efficient designs. How Semiconductor has that experience, so by bringing them in, it should expand what they're able to do, what Intel is able to do. So it really does make sense for them to do it. It as diversification and business kind of stuff probably won't have any impact, is my guess, for Intel's first party offerings. It's not like you're going to see an Intel CPU manufactured using Tower Semiconductor stuff, unless it is something like they realize that, oh, we didn't realize you could do this to improve efficiency like that. And I don't see any reason to necessarily believe that will happen. But still, it's for them, it's good business. The next thing is a rumor. Actually, no, I don't think it is. I think it was actually something said on their earnings call, which I haven't looked at that. It's been a busy week. But concerning a potential hybrid CPU kind of thing. But I'm going to let this go first.
I need help, Serdadu. The government have hired a military specialist to train their new anti-gang unit. He is a very dangerous soldier, a veteran from dirty wars all over the world. I want him eliminated with a fair amount of prejudice.
probably gonna keep talking. Yeah. So. Wait. Is that at the base I already cleared? Yeah, it is. I know you're gonna hate it. So, 'cause I just enjoy these. And sorry, I wanted chaos blowing that up. Okay, so you had a bit of intel. Where's that? There is somebody up there. Okay. So on the earnings call, and I, as I said, I've not looked at it myself, but I have seen some things talking about it. Some stuff concerning like when they want their discrete GPUs to be available. Apparently, that's Q2. But man, that thing's really stable.
A word to the wise, La. This man is considered one of the best mercenaries in the world. He is ruthless.
Okay. So, you know, like, yeah, that Q2 for the discrete GPU release in theory. Also that I can't remember the name of it. I cannot remember the name of the server chip that would have some of the GPU tiles on there. But they also apparently was saying that they want to, and maybe this is from that, maybe I don't remember. I know it was being talked about though, having an Intel chip that combines x86, ARM, and RISC-V tiles on there. Since they call them tiles, AMD would call them chiplets, and you know, so on and so forth. And yeah, that is kind of news, but it's also I kind of remember back when AMD was first, you know, getting into the whole heterogeneous computing. And that I thought was one of their plans. Well, not with RISC-V, but with ARM. So it's like, I'm not saying that it's not, you know, a good thing, well, potential good thing, and that isn't significant that Intel is doing it. It is significant. It will likely be a good thing if Intel decides to do it. Just this is not as big a thing as some people, I think, want others to think it is. Yeah, I got a ways to walk. I like this gun. Yeah, so anyway, the idea would be to have, kind of like how with Alder Lake you have the high performance cores and the high efficiency cores, to also have an ARM core, well, ARM cores would be more than one, and RISC-V cores. That I'm less sure of why they necessarily do that, but it's like ARM is popular enough that it makes sense. RISC-V, I don't really know it being that popular. But it would be doable. I might have been able to grab one of these guns from over there. Yep, that would say, oh, yes, that's right. I can also grab that. I forgot that there's one of these over here. Only thing better than the minigun. Only thing. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm just having fun with this. But yeah, it is going to be a good and interesting thing if they do that. Although I'm not sure exactly to what end. Because I'm just like, that's not going to be and now there's a service pack update from Microsoft so that this stuff can be taken advantage of in Windows. That would be more of okay, we're now at Windows 12. That has been a ground-up redesign. I mean, I'm not being completely facetious there. It would be very difficult to achieve.
All units, we have reports of violence, sir. Report to location immediately.
Yep. Yeah, I understand why you'd want to do it. It's just I do wonder how broadly it can be used. Like, where is going to be that use case? Because remember, we don't even have yet because, like, going back to AMD with the heterogeneous compute, what the heck? Is he stuck in there? Where is this guy? There we go.
Hire a killer to kill a killer. That's what I've always said.
Let's get back to the vote. So what I was saying was that, AMD with the heterogeneous compute stuff, which kinda, sorta collapsed, but not really, because that is where the APUs came from. That it was that initiative that brought about the APUs, which are still, I tend to refer to them as, the Ryzen APUs as opposed to the Ryzen CPUs with Radeon graphics, which is like the more actual marketing name for them. There we go. That looks like it could be interesting. Let's head over there. Probably because I've got no idea where the next mission is for them. Doesn't look like there's one around here. Nope. It's actually weird, actually. Okay, yeah, I'll have to do those. But I feel like, just having a little bit of fun. And clearing the map. Which, this is actually one game. As much as I do enjoy clearing the map, this is one game I've never fully done that in. Because it's just so much. Anyway. We don't have unified CPU, GPU stuff. Is what I was getting at. And it's like, AMD has the APUs. Almost every Intel consumer CPU has a GPU built in. And yet we don't have something where it's like, oh, hey, you know what? We recognize that this would run better if we ran it on the GPU instead of on the CPU. So we'll just, push it over there. We don't have that kind of hybrid design. Well, hybrid software capability. Why would anyone think... I mean, okay, to be fair, though, there aren't applications written for being run on GPU. The GPU serves as an accelerator. Okay, that is an important distinction. But it still is that we don't really have that. And no, the P&E cores wouldn't quite be doing, because that's not... Well, actually, part of it is different instruction sets. Well, it could... The professional parts, right? The E-cores lack AVX 512. The P-cores do have it, though. And I think, even though AVX 512, Intel decided to just disable for, there we go. Even though they decided to just, disable it for consumer parts, I think some of the professional parts that are going to be Alder Lake based, I think those are actually, still going to have AVX 512 enabled. I don't remember them. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, to go to a completely different instruction set, it's going to take some hardware, software, and firmware black magic to achieve. Which they'll probably be able to do, but it may not work very well for them. It's really interesting to see what comes of it. That also reminded me of something. Where was it that I saw it? Oh, that's what it was. Somebody talking about x86 being, this old legacy architecture. Well, old legacy design that has, all these issues to it because of that. And it's like, yeah, but there is one thing that I saw being talked about. was it something that... There might have been something Ian Cuttress shared, talking about the difference between Risk and Sisk, which I can try to paraphrase from my memory, but I'll probably screw it up. Basically what it was being pointed out was that we're not running x86. We haven't been running x86 for a long time. A lot of the instructions are actually being emulated. And this was getting into the whole Sisk versus Risk. Hence why I was in that article. I was going near this one, so I'm curious what this yellow dot is. Oh, great. So I don't remember what they actually stand for, Risk and Sisk. But it's basically how are the instructions written and decomposed to be used by the actual hardware. So, just trying to think what would be the way to explain this. No CPU knows how to do Word. Okay? There's no CPU that actually can just run Word. It needs it has, the different instructions that must be, properly deconstructed, and then okay, there we go.
Try to communicate now, punks.
Damn it! Where is he?
Guy, the helicopter just left. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like...
He got away!
There we go. Let's try and find the right button.
Enemy sighted! All available units advance!
There we go. So it's like one... Going back to the Risk and Sisk thing. And I think it was Sisk. I could be misremembering the other name. But it's basically one works by using like instructions that are only like a few bytes long. And that's it. Everything is decomposed into that. So whatever the instruction is, it's always broken down into those things that are run once per cycle. Okay? So you want very high clock speed in order to achieve high performance. The other would instead use a design that has the instructions actually be longer in size, which can lead... I think I'm remembering this correctly, but I could very easily be wrong. But it's basically in just how do you break up the instructions? Do you keep them long or do you shorten them? And what this article was talking about was that x86 initially was long. Its design was for longer... I was really hoping that would have weapons on. Is for longer thing. Was for longer instructions. But it's been changed over the years. That Intel and AMD, yes, they still support x86, but the actual cores are running it in a RISC-like way. It's not true RISC though, and that was also part of it. Part of the thing that I read was talking about how, yeah, technically you don't have pure RISC or pure CISC anymore. They've migrated towards each other because there were advantages that each had over the other, and so each did what they could to improve themselves by taking on those advantages of the other. So coming back around to what the hell my point was, because I know I've kind of lost the thread of that, is that, you know what? No, we can say it badly. I'm just looking for, like, military base, in case you're wondering. There it is that you don't actually run pure x86, and we've not been running pure x86 for many years. The x86 x86 instructions come in and are translated into something that the CPUs actually know how to run. Which also means then that, the cores themselves might be using completely novel instruction set. I could believe that internally. But everything is converted so that it looks like it's running x86 or whatever. It's also worth noting, though, x86 has not been run for many, many years now. The reason is because it's x86-64 or AM64. Because when AMD figured out how to have a 64-bit instruction set, they didn't just extend. I don't think they just extended x86. They figured out how to replicate x86 inside of it. So yeah, it is the whole thing's changed. So the whole having the ARM stuff in there, that maybe that will make it easier to be, because you already have some of that translation stuff. Maybe you could then have the firmware in there, so it's like, oh, I see these instructions, they decompose more easily or just run better on that kind of chip, so we'll put it over there. I don't know. Maybe that will end up happening. Or maybe it'll be something a little different. Maybe it does need to be like, oh yeah, this should go there, that should go there. It will be interesting to see. It will be very interesting. But I'm not personally gonna be like, oh my god, we have to wait and see what happens here. It's like, nah. It's interesting. I don't know how exciting it is, at least consumer side. It also, though, will be interesting because I wonder, some of the rumor-esque level to it, even if it was announced at an earnings call kind of thing, I could believe that it's in part because of Apple. Because they showed with the M1 that, and not that I follow it too closely, that you can achieve enough emulation, sufficient emulation with ARM to basically get something that can, in some scenarios, compete with x86 and other solutions. And it doesn't matter if it's like, yeah, that's actually, you might have engineers saying, yeah, it really doesn't matter, it's not that big a deal, we're fine, x86 is fine, this isn't going to be a problem for us. It doesn't matter because it's Apple and it's successful. You always have to make sure that you appear to be doing something about it. That could have been bad. There is actually a point at which you're too low to be shot. But I don't remember what that is. Ooh, goody. Gimme. Ooh, even better. But not just now. We're good with it. I like that helicopter. It's a powerful helicopter. Yeah, it just... Alder Lake is more interesting to me than the, this potential hybrid architecture CPU. At least for now. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. The last thing I got here, which I need... Oh, yeah, the browser stuff, which is just kind of funny. So, especially because of how it's getting people to remember things, but not completely correctly. Yeah. So, both Chrome and Firefox are approaching version 100. Which is kind of a problem for them because, so browsers have something called a user agent, which is basically a string that just gives information to the website. Things like, what the browser is, the browser version, the operating system, language, I think time zone might also be in there. But yeah, it's just different pieces of information, and some of it, like browser version, is necessary so that the webs. Ooh, goody! Have another one. No, I'm picking that up. I'm not grabbing the other.
Move out! Find him!
The browser version, though, is important because it allows it to know. Because Google likes to say, "What are internet standards?" But it's something for plebes to use. Seriously, Google is terrible. Which shouldn't surprise anyone, really. But, the issue that's come up, or will be coming up, is that the user agent design only supports 2 digits for the, well, in many cases, it only supports 2 digits in the, version number for the browser. So when you hit triple digits, bad things might happen. Might. Apparently, I read a little bit on it. Apparently, they've been testing, and it looks like plenty of things will be fine. Plenty of websites will be fine, won't actually have a problem, but some will. Whoops. Let's... Ow, I missed a point. There we go. Oh, there we go. But it's just kind of funny, and people have been likening it to Y2K, which, for those who don't remember, or those who weren't alive at the time, not that anyone watches it, but, go with it. In 1999, there was a lot of concern that when going to the year 2000, that various computers would stop functioning. Because a lot of systems were basically set up to only track 2 digits in the year. It's like, why bother? It would only track the 9 and the 9 because... Where is it? I know it's... There it is. And you would just assume the 19, right? Well, now you're going to 2000, which is a problem because now those 2 digits have changed, so it would say 00, and what is that going to do to all these different applications that rely on knowing the date? Well, they fixed that stuff. They did. Patches were sent out to address that. And so it ended up being nothing. But I do feel that that's something that people are forgetting, is that, no, we patched it. The problems were predicted and patched. It's not that nothing happened, it's that it wasn't allowed to happen because people put in the effort. This is another one of those situations where it's like people just need to put in the effort to make sure this will work right. And they are doing that. In some cases, it may just be that they leave it at the major version being 99, and the minor version is what actually tracks the, is what's more accurate. For those of you that are wondering what I mean major and minor version, for many pieces of software, the digit ahead of the decimal point, well, it's not a decimal point, is the major version. And next you would have the minor version, and then after that you would have like major revision and minor revision. Okay. I'm just trying to think what would be. Son of a bitch.
Backup has been sent. ETA 30 seconds.
So, not that how I use is necessarily the best, but I would use the same kind of versioning for like when I'm writing a story. So the draft, the main draft, is the first digit, and typically I don't actually end up doing complete new drafts. Sometimes I do, though usually I'd never finish one, so I actually just regress it from 1. But if I wrote a story, it would be 1.0. If I then rewrote it, the second draft, it would be 2.0. But if I just wrote it and then I, went through and made a lot, did heavy editing to it. Well, here, why don't I actually just go through what the process usually is? I'll go through, I'll write it once, and then I'll go through and, reread it, making revisions, making tweaks and such, catching typos and such like that. So that would be like, 1.0.1. I would then, after that, potentially go through and do heavier editing, where it's like, okay, you know what, I want to rewrite this chapter. Or I want to put in a new chapter. Or an additional chapter, something like that. That would be 1.1. Okay? And that's kind of how it is, not perfectly, but kind of how it is for software as well. So, the first version, the major version. Crap, now I'm just trying. It gets a little messy because not all software uses that a strict team and say so. Okay, could that work? Maybe. With the browsers, you have the engine. So like Firefox has the, I think it's the Gecko engine, and Chrome the Chromium engine. So you could see it being that Chromium version, the engine version, that's what the first digit is. The second digit could be like UI kind of stuff. Okay, so how one interface interacts with the browser. That seems fair to me. And then next would be security vulnerabilities that aren't necessarily engine. And then maybe some more tweaks to it there. So you break it down. Yeah, it's, I don't know, getting back to the main point, because I know I'm just rambling and lost the thread of it at least once. There is just this new concern that, oh my god, what are we going to do when we hit 100? Probably not going to have to worry about it, because they'll take care of it. The thing that we do have to worry about, and this is more akin to Y2K, and is going to happen, and is not a software, well, not necessarily a software, is, so, a lot of stuff, as in basically all computers, track, time by Unix time, which is a count of the seconds from, midnight January 1st, so the morning of January 1st, 1970. Okay? We are actually approaching the point where that number surpasses 32-bit. I think it's 32-bit that we're approaching. So 64-bit systems are fine, but there's still a lot of 32-bit systems out there, like old legacy stuff that, runs things. So, yeah. It'll get interesting when we actually do reach that. Hey, cool, it's right here. Because that could be an actual, oh, the world, parts of the world just crashed.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
There we go. I couldn't remember which was I was right now. There we go. Yes, actually I do want to go there. I think that might, not certain, but I think that might be a port, not just a city. But yeah, so reaching the limit of Unix time, that But by the way, it's also worth noting with the whole how Unix time works. That's why, and I've seen some stuff, sometimes you'll see a date be 12/31/1969. That's actually Unix time 0, and it's sometimes things will just fall back to that if they don't have a time. Just kind of funny, but that is actually where that comes from. I think I'm out of stuff to talk about here. Yes, that is a port. Cool. But yeah, it's just... You'd also think that they could be like, well, why don't we, with the whole version 100, why don't we go to A0? Is there a reason we can't do that? That was not good. I survived, but that was not good. I need practice at this. It's basically, I shouldn't stop when I'm in this, so it helps with not being hit. And also, I really want to take out things like these bridges, trains, because that's going to be hard to do on foot. But this is part of what, makes video games so much fun. Just the whole, just destroy everything in a fun and easy way. Like stress relief. Because you don't have to worry about, the rubber degrading on the stress ball. I did something. Now I have. It might be because I finally pushed the chaos high enough to trigger this. Wow, there's a lot. Yep. This is easier in the day. I can take out these smokestacks. Hit them.
Haven't lost my touch.
And by the way, you do need to, generate chaos. See how I'm getting to the next stronghold location? It's all... this is all necessary. I think I'm reaching the point where some of it is I would have to, pick up these things. And I'm not doing that yet. Let's keep with the destruction for a while. Because as I said, some of the stuff is harder to do when you're on foot. Another one of these, that's good to know. I'm sure there's more to explore, but I just... Oh yeah, the right. There are some of the fuel. Yeah, I can see them right now. Oh, and we have a pipeline? You have to actually do that by hand. A little bit annoying, but, I mean, they don't want you to be able to just, you know, do what I'm doing and completely clear areas. And what did I just... Oh. Alright. I'm gonna give another pass over it all to see what more there might be for me to explode. Especially now that the sun's... Oh! Right there. There we go. Thinking a lot of it at this point is going to be the it's a small ship, you know, think about it. Anyway, I'm saying compared to the helicopter, it's not that big. I think a lot of it is the pickup, so I will be doing that shortly. I just, you know, while I got the rockets, and I think it technically says it's auto, no, mounted. Oh. But yeah, while I have those, probably use them. But no, it looks like I got everything. And there's another that I can pick up if I need. Yeah, there's... Whoops. I am not sure how exactly I'm gonna get it. Okay, that worked. I just remembered with the whole talk about patches, well, updates and stuff. Cyberpunk 2077 got a significant update. Version 1.5, which includes various things, such as the next-gen update. So that, seriously, you need to actually grab onto things. I'm not angry. And I'm not. It's just, come on, really? I'm sorry. I'm getting pot-shotted, nearly to death, and he just is constantly not grabbing onto the things immediately in front of him. Okay, there. You're dead. Finally. Alright. So with 1.5, and I don't have the game, so a lot of the stuff I don't know what it's referring to, a lot of the changes. At some point I do want the game, but it's kind of one of those, yeah, maybe when I have, you know, better than a 580 in my desktop kind of things. Yeah. There we go. Come. Oh, come. Finally. What the hell? There was no floor there. In a way, though, that makes me feel better. Because that means that those things were not really designed well for grappling on. That could happen. Or for platforming on in general. Anyway, apparently a lot of changes came to it, including
the people of now are working towards a
the
precious freedom. We island
it put me this far away. Alright,
people should stick together, do you not think?
I'm gonna get that helicopter, not that helicopter, that airport. It also dropped fidelity effects cast, so the contrast adaptive sharpening for fidelity effects super resolution, which I am a little concerned about. Excuse me. I mean, and this is one of those I don't know because I don't have the game. Could casts just be turned on in general, or was it a no? You can only turn it on when you are actually, you know, running at lower resolution when there's resolution scaling. I don't know. If that's the case, then okay, then it makes sense. But if it were just a, you know, sharpening option before that was then disabled, it's like, I don't know if I like that idea. Let's explore and see what all I can use to help me take this over.
We have a visual requesting backup.
Yeah, an armored car. I don't think I can go in here. Yeah, I didn't.
Move out, fight him!
There.
He's over there! Like him! You bastard!
And by the way, you really do not want to be near that when it goes. Bad things happen. That looks like it might have boom booms on it. It has boom booms on it. But I want to this stuff while. Yeah, so it makes sense, just going back to the whole major and minor vision stuff. It does make some sense that it would be 1.5, because like a true 2.0 to a game would be like, oh, we've remade the game. And there have been some games that actually would qualify for that, but they would be, you know, the minority. But you do end up running into the issue of, well, like, if you respect that, how do you handle like version 10, like 1.10, because some people are like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's a decimal point. It's like, no, it's a version. So it's like Ubuntu, how that has, you know, first before the point is the year, after the point is the month it was released in. So they have April and October, 6 months apart. So like this year you will have 22.4 and 22.10. And that's just how you read it. Also, AMD's drivers. Those also use it because it's year. Actually, yeah, that's a almost perfect example of the versioning and stuff. So it's year, then month, then version. Now, yeah, it's year, month, version, not major, minor version, major, minor release. But it still is. You have that very regular design there. And they do keep to. Oh, well. Okay, no, I take it back. There has been one time when they actually did, like, release a version, like a 21.1.3 that was released in February. That actually might be a specific, the actual example. I know that happened once, but it was like, you know, a day or two late, you know, a day or two into the other month. So it's like, it kind of makes sense that it wasn't meant to be a February release. Yeah, that is, though, they do keep to that. Whereas you got Nvidia's Foursquare, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Move up!
I mean, they might be correct as far as, like, the hundreds do indicate, you know, major changes, but it's like, you know, 300. I don't remember any 400s. I know there are 300s. I know there are 200s. I've used 300s and 200s, and we're at 500s now. It's like, where is any of this coming from? And how exactly is it working? Like, is it basic that they're encoding it into the digits and not using point? Like, is it that 500 is just newer than 400, or is it that the 5 there is newer than 4? It's sort of like how the GPU naming works for them. That, you know, the 30 series, it's 30 series and 20 series, and then it's the, you know, 60, 70, and 80 versions within there. Alright. I didn't even see that guy there. I just wanted to get over here for that. Because I knew it was over here.
Need assistance! Send air support!
Ready, go!
Let's head back this way. See if I pick up. Yep. Could be in here. Nope, because it's going down. It is weird that the pickups are... Oh, it's right there. I see. But yeah, it is kind of weird that the pickups are also necessary for clearing this military location, isn't it? I mean, just when you stop and really think about it, it's like, shouldn't this settlement... yes, it's my clearing of it, but it's not like the enemies should be gone just because of that. Alright. So now do a couple. One is clear that, the other is... Okay, I was hoping I wasn't so close to an hour. Because then it'd be like, oh, yeah, I'll, you know, fly back up there and finish what I started. Instead, I'll just... I should actually just stop, but I'm having fun. I just at least want to see what this is. Maybe blow some stuff up. Yeah, there's a port, so there's stuff there to blow up.
Missile launched.
What? Oh, yeah, I like that. Ow. Well, that was pretty bad. Come on. There you go. 3-inch steps. Okay. There's a minigun. I feel like I'm obligated to now do this.
Oh, some fun.
Where the hell were those shots? I don't think that guy should have had vision on me. I don't have anything else to talk about except an experiment with R for processing performance data I've shared with the staff. Hopefully it's something that we can figure out how to do broadly. But we'll see. It's a really neat. I think I've mentioned it. But I don't completely remember.
That'll come.
Because I know I talked about it some just to fill time when I was playing Dying Light 2. It's just possible I'm remembering that. Well, that sucked. Okay, it's not so. Well, it kind of. But, yeah, hopefully it will be something. Because it's one of those things that's just, I think, will really add to what we can do, add to what we offer. But it would take some server-side work. So, yeah, I don't know what the possibilities are.
Requesting air support.
I don't know where those yells were. I think I already blew up everything over here, so... At least I hope so, because that means I can just do this. Oh, hey, there's another.
Backup is arriving shortly.
Good, because these are flat cannons. They're actually meant for taking out the air. I saw it. I know there's more behind it, but let's see this. And knew about that.
Get us a chopper now.
Alright, so what's left? I don't see anything more to blow up. But I wouldn't be upset if I were wrong. But nothing's popping either. Well, nothing's triggering the, radar, I mean.
I see him! Get over here!
Huh. Oh, now something else. This is too far away. Ah, damn it. That's true. Man. I have no idea what just happened there, but I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna stop.
Backup has
This doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what I'm missing. And I don't feel like spending too much more time. And it's like, hey, I had the ability to just make stuff go boom. And there was lots of stuff there to go boom. So why don't I just make stuff go boom? Instead of stopping. I should have. But I'm stopping. I'm trying to remember. Let me just quickly. Once it's finished. Yeah, only 58% at 47 hours. Now, true. Then 44% at 23 hours. But, yeah, this is not an easy game to clear. And for anyone wondering, I don't mind sharing this. I don't want to talk about anything too specific with Dying Light 2. But, I mean, just occurred to me, I don't think there's any problem saying this. 52 hours, 50 minutes, and 7 seconds is what it says. The save game says I played it for. Yeah. That's healthy. That's pretty healthy. Not that 500 hour that I don't know exactly how that was arrived at. Techland shared somewhere that they were saying that to fully do everything in it was 500 hours, which set off a lot of people mocking it. But the 52 hours for me was obviously the story missions, but also like every procedurally generated, although they weren't because there were voice lines there, but like just generated missions that I could. And there were 3 of those. I also didn't do any of the the parkour challenge stuff. Yeah, there were 3. 1 to find books, 1 to deliver packages and such, and then 1 that was actually killing enemies to harvest stuff for somebody to make drugs and such from. And those, you do a few of them, then they're like, oh, I don't have any missions for you now, come back later, or I'll let you know over the radio. They let you know over the radio how long later, and then you've got some more. Yeah, those, obviously, there's more for those. But no, basically, the full story, every other mission I could find that wasn't just the, like I was saying, the generated one. Though there were also some, because also missions actually have to be done at night. There were like 2 more of those left. But there's also other missions that I didn't do and are like locked for me. But I think that's and I think I did say this in the review. I know I said in the review playthrough commentary. I think it was just because of like the version that I started playing on and how saves changed with patches. That basically some stuff is just bugged for me and in locked state, and that's fine. That happens when you're playing in pre-release version. So, but yeah, so that doesn't upset me, doesn't bother me. I mention it, but I don't think about it. But if I play it through again, I will make sure I do everything. And I will say that yes, I do. I mean, hey, I've already been saying I do definitely recommend the game. I found it very fun. I do kind of want to play it over again, and I won't even like make different decisions. I just, I enjoyed it that much. I really enjoyed it. All right, I shall stop now, and yeah, see you next week. I don't think there's any reason you won't. Maybe something will come up. I doubt it though. I don't even know why I'm saying that. I will be here next week. See you then.